Elon Musk continuously creates these innovative, magical, beyond understandable things. And he's soon becoming Iron Man. He's soon becoming a demigod. He's soon becoming a savior. The blind sight device from Neuralink will enable those who have lost both eyes and their optic nerve to see, provided the visual cortex is intact. It will even enable those who have been blind from birth to see for the first time. To set expectations correctly, the vision will be at first low resolution, like Atari graphics, but eventually it has the potential to be better than natural vision and enable you to see in infrared, ultraviolet, or even radar wavelengths, like Geordie LaForge. I think that's the correct name there that I've got. Now, I think this is very interesting because if you're looking at technology and looking at shamanism, basically they're both the same thing. The alchemists was uniting the mystical and the material, wasn't it? And as we start to get further and further into science, we start to get further into the mystical worlds. For instance, if you've got an atom, I think if you split the atom and then you do something to this part of the atom, it has some sort of telepathical ability to talk to the other side. I've probably got that a little bit wrong. I'm probably explaining it very badly. It's also well known that entities, when you have cameras, when you want to go ghost hunting, video and apparatus that are technological can pick up on things that our eyes cannot. So for instance, audio, if you get audio and you play audio and you record the audio and you ask the room of something and you call a spirit, sometimes you can get whispers. Also, when you have a camera, you can pick up things like those baby cameras, that look at the baby, and then you see these like orbs that come in and they sort of disturb the baby, and then the baby wakes up and it's sort of had a nightmare or something like that. So it's quite well known for some people that energies exist and they can be picked up on technology. So if this new technology that we have has the ability to see things that the ordinary person can't, then you're starting to put the mystical back into the science, because you've got to remember, in the 17th century, science and mysticism were split. And um, the scientists back then didn't actually want it to be split, but the Catholic Church was being so difficult that it wanted the earth to be the center of the universe. It sort of caused the split. And the mysticism was always the rational, it was always the moralistic, it was always the bit that held the material science from going forward. So for instance, if you have the ability to make an atom bomb, the mystical side, the moralistic side, would say, well, do you really think that's a good idea to do that? Because you might end up killing 70,000 people in Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You might have technology that can kill people, technology that can control people, technology that can hurt the human race, technology that can put nanobots into people's bodies. And the mystical realm will always sort of say, look, we're humans. We come from God. Is this technology serving humans? And what we might find, you see, this is all hypothetical what I'm saying, but it's quite interesting, is that if we can see into other realms using technology, then what does that mean for us? And this isn't going to be the first time that technology allows us to move into different realms and see things in different realms. For instance, you've got plant medicine, you've got DMT. So if you do shamanism, when you start beating the drums, you can go into different states of consciousness and you can see things that other people can't see. And it's not just you, it's multiple people seeing the same thing that other people can't see. The same thing with DMT, with drugs that seem to raise the vibrations in the body and make the DNA in your body act like antennae. And you start to be able to see things that other people can also see when they're on this drug as well. And that's through shamanism. And then you have, so you've got your drugs and you've got your shamanism, and then you've got your meditations and you've got your prayers. So, for instance, the Buddhists and the Hindus, when they say their prayers, sometimes even the Christians, they can see things. Then you've got your psychics, they can see things. And now what we're starting to see is science moving into the realm of the psychics, being able to see things that the other world can't see. So, how do you sort of break that down? Well, if everything is sort of waves, if everything is sort of energy, if everything is an electrical spectrum, if everything is a light spectrum, our eyes can only see a very small part of that spectrum. I believe it's something like 0.06 or 0.02. I don't even think it's 1%. It's very, very small, and you've got gamma rays, electric rays, electricity, infrared. And so if you're going to start seeing the world in a different way, then you're going to see it in ways that animals can see it. So for instance, Bees have an ability to see the world in a way where they know if a bee has gone to a plant, the plant will show up a different color. And so the bee will not go to the same plant and waste energy to pollinate or to get wax or to get um, food or to get whatever it's getting, nectar, because another bee's already gone there and the plant tells it. But it tells it in a way that humans can't see. So we're starting to enter into the realms of the animals. And this is sort of this transhuman ideology where we are transforming out of the human, right? Without having explored the human, by the way, but we're starting to transform out of the human body and we're starting to explore the other kingdoms, the kingdoms of the plants, the kingdoms of the birds, the kingdoms of the animals, who have abilities for their natural way of life that we don't have because I suppose as humans we don't need, or maybe it's been taken away from us. But there is this idea, going back into the past that humans once had a lot of these abilities and they were taken away from us. There are these sort of ideas that, we were interfered with by a superior alien race and they took away our ability to communicate with God. I mean, if you look in the Bible, there is a history where humans had an ability to speak to God, and then suddenly one day God just shut up. God just didn't speak. And it seems that maybe if you alter something in humans, because humans apparently had the ability to live for long periods of time. If you look at Adam and you look at Moses and you look at Methuselah and I think that was his name, and you look at all the prophets, they lived for hundreds of years. So why can't we live for that amount of time? Again, there is this idea that human DNA was interfered with and it stopped us from living for such a long time. Because if you live for a very long time, you can pass a lot of wisdom, you can take a lot of wisdom, you can pass a lot of wisdom down onto the next people, into your children. Because if you think about it, you sort of finish university, don't you, at 23? So you're sort of able to work or able to think. And then you sort of got 23 until in your 50s or 60s, your mind's sharp. So 20 to 60, you sort of got 40 years, and then 60 to 80, you're sort of in that dying process. But if you could be young for 500 years, you've got 500 years worth of ability as opposed to sort of 40 years worth of ability. So that's quite an extreme variation. And so what this it you're coming into this idea of revelation. Is it possible that technology can give you revelation of the hidden worlds? And if you do have this ability to enter into revelation or enter into these hidden worlds and you see entities, that's much like the UFO phenomena, because the UFO phenomena is something which has been kept from us, isn't it? It's something that we are not privy to. The governments have said you can't see that because it's something from a different dimension or a different world or a different science or something which is outside of our understanding of the world. And if the government was to say that UFOs do exist and alien life exists, it would have a massive impact on humans at different levels. For instance, ideologies, religions, um, philosophies, who we are, what we are. We'd be angry with the government that it's lied to us. And so, it might also confirm a lot of biblical stories, the Nephilim, the fallen angels. A lot of things might start to make sense. We might rediscover who we are. And the same thing, if suddenly science can say, well, we actually live in a space with other entities that we can't see, then the question is, well, how do those entities affect us? And then you might suddenly start to realize that we are being affected or manipulated or coerced or helped by things that we can't see. And that's going to have a very large impact on ourselves as well. Now, um, these things about having access to the unseen have always been kept from humans. During the witch trials killed a lot of people that were seers, a lot of wise people that had access to other dimensions. Because if you think about it, Christianity in a certain way kept that ability to see down. You had to go to Jesus and you had to go to God and you had to go to the Bible. Whereas the pagans and the seers were sort of going towards paganism and and nature. So by killing the seers, you closed down that part. Then Christianity also erased a lot of our history. It also got rid of a lot of other ideologies at the same time as it. For instance, the Gnostics. Then you've got Hypatia. Then you've got the Christians going to other countries and killing a lot of the shamans in South America. Then you've got the the Christians, which tried to put down science, so that it controlled science. Um, you've got science, which says that mediumship and spirits all are a load of baloney. Um, you've got at the moment governments that don't want you to take plant medicine. If you go into a country with shamanic plant medicines, you can go to prison. So all of those areas have been closed down, which is quite interesting. But yet it seems that science might have given itself the permission to create revelation, but on the terms of science, because the terms of science are not the terms of shamans or not the terms of plant medicines. The shamans have been here 40,000 years, 200,000 years, maybe even more. The plant medicines have been here millions of years. Um, so if science and the governments are closing that part down, like they have the UFOs and things like that, but yet they're willing to open up another branch where they can control the information in the narrative, what is going to happen? Because the plant medicines are going to say, but we told you about that all along. Why didn't you listen to us?